Have you experienced any conflict lately? Maybe a fight or a breakup, a fallout with a friend, an argument with a parent, a wrong order from McDonald's? I'm pretty sure that you will never face more conflict in life than when you're a teenager. In fact, I would suggest that one of the main reasons why some adults seem to never escape conflict is because they struggle to grow up and out of the teenage years. They still do some of the same things they used to do. See, being a teenager is tough. Navigating your everyday is like being on a never-ending episode of American Ninja Warrior. There's just so much conflict that you're dodging and ducking, trying to get over, and in some cases deliberately choosing to take on with all your might so you can get through it. And it makes sense to me because there are so many opinions, relationship dynamics, insecurities, and more that make conflict a frequent occurrence. It's one obstacle after the other. Like maybe your coach was barking at you because he perceived your effort was lacking in practice. Or the lunch lady didn't give you the right amount of change after buying your lunch. Your hairstylist cut your hair shorter than you asked, and now you don't want to show your face at school for 3 months. There's this girl you've been crushing on for the past couple of weeks really hard, and she accidentally called you by the wrong name in front of your friends. Someone took your seat at church. They know you sit there, but they sat there anyways. There's just so much conflict that you face on a routine basis, and when you face conflict of various kinds, you're faced with a decision. How will you respond? And in those tense moments, there's usually one thing that stands out most. No matter what you do in a conflict, words take center stage. What we say and how we say it often carries more power than we realize. And unfortunately, sometimes our relationships suffer because of our words. Maybe some of you have lost a friend recently over the words that you texted. Maybe you got into a huge argument with your parents because of something that you said. Some of you have teachers probably that can't stand seeing you coming down the hallway because they feel like you have something disrespectful to say or your tone is going to be rude. So what do? I mean, we have to use words to communicate, right? We can't just live in a cave for the rest of our lives and take a vow of silence. So if we want our relationships to grow and not be hindered by our words, how should we communicate? Is there a way for us to communicate during conflict without losing our cool? Is there a way to communicate that creates stronger friendships and healthier relationships while also making a way for honesty? Well, we've been looking at the book of Proverbs throughout this series. See, Proverbs is a book in the Old Testament that includes a ton of short sayings and principles that communicate a specific truth to help us make better choices. Its main purpose is to teach us wisdom and the best way to live. And we're going to look at another verse from it today. And it goes like this. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Like many verses in Proverbs, this one is communicating two different choices. They're opposites even. In this case, it's the choice we have when it comes to how we use our words. Let's start with the second half of the verse, or the second choice. A harsh word stirs up anger. At this point, it probably would be helpful to define what a harsh word is. I would say harsh words are unpleasant words that are usually spoken with an angry tone, usually with the intention of shutting down the conversation. If you've recently been in trouble in an argument or disagreement, you probably know what I'm talking about. You've felt that urge to say something sarcastic or rude or disrespectful. Any of those things qualify as harsh words that Proverbs is referring to. For example, let's say that there's a party or a social gathering of some kind at a friend's house and you want to go this weekend. So you ask your mom. She says, no. And you don't even feel like she's giving you a chance to state your case or explain why it's not a big deal. So you're mad. You yell at your mom and you accuse her of constantly ruining your life. That's harsh, right? Your disrespectful words and angry tone likely ended in your mom feeling hurt and angry as well. So now there's no chance of you talking her into letting you go. Your harsh words have now solidified your later at home that weekend babysitting, your little sister. And no one walked away feeling good about the relationship. That's the consequence of harsh words. Now, let's go back to the first part of the Proverbs and let's see a different choice when it comes to using our words. A gentle answer turns away wrath, the verse says. Gentle words make it harder to be mad. Have you ever had someone come to your door trying to sell you something? Did you let them inside the house? Probably not. Chances are you politely said, no thanks, and closed the door, turning them away and sending them in the other direction. See, in the same way, using your words can do this when it comes to someone's anger with you. Your gentle words, that is, can literally turn away their anger. You can diffuse the situation. Think about it. Whether it's your mom or your brother or somebody you're fighting with, when you speak nicely to them, it's really hard for them to keep escalating the argument. If they say something awful and you respond with gentleness, it's really awkward for them to keep coming at you. They start to feel a little bit silly, and eventually the whole thing just kind of calms down and goes away. So when it comes with dealing with conflict and arguments, wisdom says that we have two choices, but really just one choice if we want what's best for others and ourselves. We can respond with gentle words or harsh ones. If we want to shut down the conversation and have tension in our relationships, harsh words are definitely the clear choice. But here's what wisdom teaches us. If you want to be heard, use gentle words. Okay, so what does this actually look like in real life? If you want to go over to a friend's house, let's say, and a parent, step-parent, or grandparent, whomever you live with, says no. Instead of yelling, blaming, and stomping out of the room, consider asking questions. Say things like, "I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but can you please help me understand why I can't go? Is it something I can do to help you work around some challenges like finding a ride?" Or let's say that a friend says something on a text thread that hurts your feelings. Instead of typing a passive-aggressive text back with the goal of hurting them, maybe call them up and have a one-on-one conversation. Say something like, "Hey, I saw your last text and I'm probably being sensitive, but I felt like that was aimed at me. Is everything okay? Is there something that I can do to make things better between us?" Or let's say a teacher gives you a bad grade on a paper. Instead of blaming her, consider talking to her in person. Look her in the eye and say something like, "I didn't get the grade I was hoping for on this paper. So can you please help me understand what I did wrong so I can put in the work to make a better grade next time?" You see the difference? Just bringing a little calm, patience, and kindness in your words to the situation can go a long way. Yes, you can still be honest about how you feel and what you want, but just say it in a different tone with a different set of words, because the means matter. If you want to be heard, use gentle words. You don't want to lead a life at the mercy of your words and the trouble they can get you into. You want to be able to call the shots in your own relationships, but the only way to do that is to learn how to practice using gentle words. Choosing to use gentle words will help you keep influence with others. Your parents and friends are more likely to listen to you, and you will maintain a better relationship with them. Using gentle words and tone won't keep you from disagreeing with people, but it will keep the relationships from being damaged. Never forget that you have a choice in how you respond to people. So, how will you respond? Will you respond in a way that will affect your relationships positively now and later? Now, if during this short talk of ours, you've been replaying a recent conflict in your mind where you said something you would categorize as harsh. If you're feeling a sense of disappointment or shame, I want to offer you some encouragement. Even though your words can't rewrite history, how you use your words today can write new history. In other words, you can't unsay or undo what has already happened, but don't let that stop you from choosing a different course today. So ask yourself, am I willing to use gentle words with my family and friends? The quality of your relationships is resting on how you answer that question. If you want to be heard, use gentle words.